Hello students, welcome to MGM Education. This is English Honors. We are going to discuss a chapter, Restoration Age, Drama. What happens now? By 1642, theaters were closed. Then there was a scope in this age, Restoration Age, to restore the dramas as a reaction to Shakespeare tragedy. It was a need for the aristocrat society of the days. So, the dramas classified here into two categories, such as heroic tragedy and comedy of manner. Right? The heroic tragedy appealed to the artificial aristocratic sentiment on the subject of honor, whereas the comedy of manners reflected the morally vicious but intellectually brilliant atmosphere of the saloons and the chocolate house of this period. Okay, now we will focus directly on the heroic tragedy. The heroic tragedy rose during this time mainly to satisfy the social, moral, and artistic needs of the age. And it lived so long as it satisfied those needs. It can be said like this, that it came into existence in response to the spiritual need of a tired and disillusioned and decadent aristocracy. Actually, what happened, the aristocracy at that time suffered from a sense of futility and moral insecurity. Okay, so the Shakespearean tragedy also faced life and reality and interpreted in such a way that the restoration aristocracy needed a drama which would value the life and the society that has already lost from the society. The heroic play created a dream world for them where they could find love, virtue, and greatness as a substitute for the pettiness around them. Okay, that means they are living in a society of pettiness which can be removed by this. For this purpose, they craved for romance and heroism, two things they have chosen. Then it could be satisfied by a type of play which was at one aristocratic and artificial. It was in response to such demands that the heroic play showed heroic virtue in a nobleman, so that these plays will create faith in the kings and the princes and men of conspicuous power, okay, to whom they used to call, in ancient period we used to call as heroes, right? In short, heroic play is an aristocratic growth, at once lofty and artificial. It doesn't deal with the real world and its problems, rather it creates a mechanical world of its own in which life is lived at a heightened level and to which real sufferings can hardly seen. It is a heroic world, not a tragic one, a world in which all the limitations of human nature are forgotten, and man is encouraged to believe that he has absolute power over his actions and circumstances. Right? The second point we will focus: does this heroic play are same with the all tragedies? So we will find a difference here. What John Dryden says that almost all the epic and the tragedy are same, but there is a little bit different. He presents it like this. What he noticed that the great affinity between the two, the epic and this heroic tragedies. The end is same, the characters are same, the actions are same, the passions are same. Only the manner of conveying them is different, what he says. Just what is the difference? Epic is just a narration, while heroic plays are in action and in dialogues. That's the only thing. After that, we can also focus on one more point. Just as in the epic, so also in the heroic play, probability is structured to the farthest limit. As in the epic, the writer is not limited even by the extremist bound of what is incredible. The introduction of supernatural is therefore justified on the same ground as in an epic. Thus, the ancient critical doctrines are used to justify the use of improbable to satisfy the restoration craving for romance, what he says. So, overall, we can say one thing, that it contained all the characters that the poem has, but only the difference is that the poems are narrations, and this is what the dramas are uh, actions and exchange of dialogues containing the same matter. So far, we noticed two most important points. One is that the restoration tragedy or dramas are more artificial, emotionless, less of reality. And second one is that there is a conflict between love and honor, what we find. Okay, there is a striving story of fighting and moral enthusiasm filled with intense dramatic interest. All for Love is the finest tragedy of this period. One more characteristic of these dramas were that we can see some complication here, often in relating to love stories. For example, it may be like this, that two men may love a single woman, and there may be some complication and adventurous we are concerned about, and it lead to a course of event and decides the fate of the hero. Sensation, sensationalism, and admiration are the two most important features all these tragic stories or the dramas of restoration age carried. Then the structure of the play is also determined by similar consideration of sensationalism, and the aim is not to depict human passion but to exhibit sudden and surprising turns of fortune to the delighted and the surprise of audience. So these turns of fortune don't depend on the action of the hero, but are by chance of fortune that it depends on. Okay, then some other characters we also can focus on it, that is the violence, bloodshed, all these things have been shown to show the heroism here, right? John Dryden happens to be one of the principal writer of heroic tragedies, during this time. His famous tragedies are such as Tyrannic Love, Conquest of Granada, and All for Love, right? And similarly, another playwright is also there, Thomas Otway. He wrote, wrote that Don Carlos, the Orphan, and Vanice Preserved. Similarly, many heroic tragedies are being played during this time. Okay, students, this is all about the drama of Restoration Age. Next, I will be posting some more videos relating to Restoration Age, then Victorian, then Elizabethan Age, and all these things. Please like and subscribe this channel for getting more videos relating to your course, particularly for English honors students. I am dedicated for making more videos relating to this course. So join the channel.